because when they are adapted at our workplace, they will make changes to our workplace in terms of it will enable new ways to execute work. They will bring new opportunities for value creation to business and organizations. They will pave the way for the formation of digital ecosystem, and also finally it will improve the collaboration and engagement with the consumers or the customers. Okay, so IR 4.0 is changing how we live, work, and communicate. Okay, for example, now during this pandemic, if you see, we have never thought of people can work from home. Okay, now people can work from home, which is known as WFH, okay, work from home, and also it is changing our life. We don't go for physical shopping, we do online shopping, we work from home, and then communication. We don't really have physical communication nowadays. All we are depending on virtual. So all this able to happen only with the support of technology. Okay, so without technology, all this cannot happen. So now our life is now changing, our work has changed, and then our communication mode also has changed. So let's look at it is changing the things that we value. We used to value our workplace, but now we don't really value our workplace because we think that we can still work from home. Okay, and then it also has changed the way we value them in the future. We do not know what's going to be in the future. Okay, so it will also change everything in the future. So it is totally in the process of changing our life, changing our work, and also our communication. All right, it's already changing our business models and employment trend. Okay, why business model? Business model from physical business to online business, or known as virtual business. Okay, and also we have like I mean, for example, like some industries like banks. Okay, they have a clearing house. Like banks, they have clearing house. Formally what they do is they send physical checks to Bank Negara, but now they don't do that. So what they do, they just change, sorry, they send the images to Bank Negara for clearing. But that is how they change business model. With this change in business model, they don't really need physical operation site to do the operations. So they just need some virtual site, so one site to control all areas, and they will just do from one operating site. So which can also save the cost and also change in the employment trend where people they don't have to be at workplace. They can still work from home. They can work online. Okay, they can work from anywhere they are as long as they have the gadgets and also they have the internet connectivity. Okay, so that is IR 4.0. All right, let's look at the evolution of Industry 1.0 up to 4.0. If you look at the years down there, okay, you can see, all right, so 1784. So this is the 18th century. The IR 2.0 is in 19th century. IR 3.0 is in 20th century, and then the current IR or IR 4.0 is happening today, which is in our 21st century. Okay, so it is actually the changes are happening, the evolutions are happening on every century. If you look at it, okay. So let's look at it one by one. Okay, let's look at it on the what happens in this evolution. Okay, so when people think of industrial revolution, there are two things that they will come into their mind. Okay, one is the first IR or the IR 1.0, and also the last IR, which is the current one 4.0. So why first one? Because they could see changes in manufacturing sector. So what happened in manufacturing sector? Changes happen in terms of usage of machinery. So where machines or machineries has been used or being used in the 18th century, okay, to replace human. So this happened under the first industrial revolution. Okay, and then it has moved on until today, where in reality you can still see it is ongoing. The IR industrial revolution is still ongoing, where today we are talking about not only machinery but machinery with advance in technology. Okay, machinery with advance in technology. So this we are referring to the fourth industrial revolution. Okay, let's look at one by one all the four revolutions. Okay, let's look at the first industrial revolution. So what happened during the first industrial revolution? Okay, it happened or occurred in 18th century or the early 19th century. So the world economies were brought out of agriculture and handcraft into a world of machines. Okay, they are still in agriculture, still in handcraft, but now machine are being used, okay, to replace people and to support human. Okay, farming and handmade goods still form a large part of economy during this 18th and 19th century, but it is being affected by the use of machines. So more and more machines being used in farming and also handmade. Okay, according to Britannica, the revolution first began in Britain and then spread throughout the world. I mean, that means all part of the world. Okay, some of the advances it introduces in manufacturing, we can see there are few. Okay, so first, invention of new machines such as spinning jenny, and the second is improvements in transportation and communication, and the third is reliance on new energy source, which is coal, and the use of new raw material. They started using steels as raw material, and then human or people has been divided into divisions of labor, and also they have been divided by their specialization and skills. Okay, that is our first industrial revolution. Okay, let's look at the second industrial revolution. So second industrial revolution occurred in 19th century and early 20th century. Okay, so during the 19th century and early 20th century. So here, manufacturers started using more synthetic materials. I mean, they started using imitate materials, and machines still play more important role now. Okay, machines now. Previously, under the first industrial revolution, machines started being used, but now they're being used it more. Okay, so the usage is more. Right, it plays a very important role in manufacturing. Right. Inventors started creating computers. These we are talking about all those bulky computers. Okay, during the 1990s. Okay, where inventors created computers, and then automatic operations. Okay, they started inventing automatic operations, but these automatic operations are not fully automatic. It is actually semi-automatic with the support of people. And then plastics were also being used in production line where they started using plastic and they started manufacturing plastics, okay, during the second industrial revolution. And then 1914 to 1918, we had our World War One. So this World War One has actually helped to revolutionize our manufacturing sector, okay, where Britannica notes that there are two key features in manufacturing happen after that, which is mass production, and the second is use of electricity of energy source. Why? Because the demand for products, the demand for end users demand, I mean, demand for products, I mean, asked by the end users has increased. So when increased, with the current capacity based on the first industrial revolution, we are unable to support or we are unable to fulfill the requirement, the demand. So manufacturers started moving into mass production, okay, where they produce in big batches, they produce in huge batches. You know, the batch sizes will be big. By each batch, there are few thousand products that they produce. So they produce and then they'll start keeping the stock. They carry it in the inventory. So whenever there's a demand, then they will start delivering according to demand. So if you look at now, of course, this is not practical, but today we are talking about just in time and possible zero inventory that we carry. So that in during the second industrial revolution, they started carrying inventories. Why? Because they are doing mass production. When you do mass production, they need space to store all the inventories. Okay, and then to support the mass production, they cannot be depending on coal anymore. The energies what you call source that they had before. So what they need to do now is they started to look for a new energy source, which was electricity. So electricity they started to use electricity during the second industrial revolution in manufacturing sectors. Okay, that is our second industrial revolution. Okay, so let's look at the third industrial revolution. Okay, so this occurred in the 20th century and also the early 21st century, so which is known as the third industrial revolution. Okay, so So the key features for this evolution or the third industrial revolution is first, electronic devices being used and being produced. Okay, all kind of electronic devices. This is where we started to have our handphone, mobile phones, and also other gadgets. Okay, so we have the IT system in place, and then where they have invented IT system and other supporting systems for this IT system. Okay, there were rapid change from analog system to more to digital system. Okay, in not only in manufacturing plants, even in other sectors also. Okay, but mainly in manufacturing. Okay, because IR 4.0 initially was adapted by these manufacturers or manufacturing sectors. Okay, so the new norm of modernization started in the year 1950s, and then it started to spread like wildfire. That means it started spreading very fast. Okay, it started spreading very fast because if they don't, then they cannot sustain in business. So organizations or manufacturers, they need to go move forward with the flow. So they need to follow whatever is happening, and they need to adapt to the modernization. Okay, so automation software was developed, where automation softwares are being developed and used by manufacturers in their machineries. Okay, this automation software started to take over many menial tasks done by human. So humans started getting worried. Okay, they're worried. Why? Because this has become a big scare to human, because they are worried that they might lose their job. So what happened? They thought that this machine would lead to mass human unemployment. Okay, during this period. Right, let's move on with the fourth industrial revolution. Okay, the fourth industrial revolution is the current one. So it is known as Industry 4.0 or Industry 4.0. It came from Germany, where it started in Germany. Okay, the term IR 4.0 was first used. Before that, they don't mention it's IR. It was known as Industry Revolution. Okay, but in 2011, okay, during the Hanover Messe Fair, so this industry revolution 4.0 has been termed as what do you call that, IR 4.0, to show that that is the next wave of industrial revolution. So after the third, so this is the fourth industrial revolution. Okay, and this IR 4.0 also known as smart manufacturing. Okay, smart manufacturing, because why, with the minimal support of human intelligence, I mean human, so artificial intelligence can do all the other tasks or people's job. Okay, can start replacing people. Okay, the key features of this revolution is cyber physical system. Okay, cyber physical system is the key features for this revolution IR 4.0. Okay, organizations have also taken automation to the next level, to the new level, where now automation has been advanced. Okay, with very minimal support from, I mean, interference from people or human. Right, IR 1.0 to IR 3.0, it focused on economic changes, but IR 4.0, it is focusing on three areas: economic, political, and also cultural changes. These three, what you call that, changes, okay, plays important role during this IR 4.0. Okay, for example, like how technology has transformed America and also the other part of the world. Right. So most of these changes in technology were fast tracked and then spread globally with the help of IoT or Internet of Things, where the new level of interconnectivity that had never been seen before, people started using new interconnectivity. So what happened is people are aware of events happening across the world. Any part of the world, they know what is happening, because why? They have this internet. They are, I mean, at their fingertip, they can see whatever they want. They get all the new update, the latest information. Okay, and so what happened? So because just because they know what is happening across the world, they start to control and they start to to control the economy, economy started being affected by people. Why? Because they are aware what is happening in economy and also the political and also cultural. IR 4.0 is still primarily based on the changes to manufacturing process. Mainly it's for manufacturing processes. And then it started moving to other industries, other sectors, okay, creating interlinks between physical and digital. So they started moving from physical to digital. So where even now the people, everybody is talking about, digitalization, where everything is moving from physical to digital. Okay, this is what creates the cyber's physical system. Okay, so where you have the transition or interlinks between physical and digital, known as cyber physical system, a phase of ongoing intersection of networks, cybernetic computing, and physical process industrial revolution. So we can see things are moving from a physical to cyber, or what do you call that, a digital system. Okay, let's look at, so we now we know what is IR 4.0, and we have seen the revolution from IR 1.0, I mean Industrial Revolution 1.0, up to IR 4.0, which is the current one. We have seen all that, and we also have seen, okay, what are the changes happened during the IR 1.0, and then to IR 2.0, 3.0, and then finally we came to IR 4.0. We have seen all that. So now let's ask this question now, whether our graduates, okay, are our graduates ready for IR 4.0 workplace? Are they ready? Are they prepared or not? Okay, so for this statement, I have three questions. Okay, I've developed three questions. First, to students or graduates in Malaysia, okay, first understand the concept of IR 4.0. Okay, do all the students, all the graduates understand what is IR 4.0? What is the concept of IR 4.0? So that is the first question. Okay, second, understand the impact of IR 4.0 in their future career. So with this IR 4.0, okay, with this technological, advancement, so this technology advancement, and with all the 9 pillars of IR 4.0, okay, will there be any impact on their future career? So future career, So do they know what is happening? Okay. The third question is, are they prepared for the ever evolving digital workplace? Are they prepared to face the IR 4.0 workplace or not? So these are the three main questions that I have today. Okay, where to see whether our graduates and also whether our students are ready to face the IR 4.0 workplace. Okay, a study was conducted, research was conducted by the INTI International College, International University and College, together with International Data Corporation (IDC) in year 2019. This study involving 560 respondents, comprising students, graduates, and their parents. Okay, so this study was conducted to survey, right, to see if talents or graduates or students were ready to be part of the digital evolving workplace or not. Okay, so to see whether are they prepared or not, are they ready or not to face the digital evolving workforce. Okay, so this study, as I said, involving 560 respondents, the respondents comprising students, graduates, and their parents. Okay, so upon completing the study or the research, okay, INTI International College, International University and College, together with IDC, International Data Corporation, they came up with few findings from the study. Okay, they have a few key findings and also other findings. Let's look at the key findings. What are those key findings? Okay, key findings. Students, graduate, and parents lack clarity on IR 4.0. Okay, that means that students, graduate, and parents, they know what is IR 4.0 just by their terminology or by name. Okay, they only know it as IR 4.0. Okay, but they do not know in detail what is this IR 4.0. Okay, so that was the first finding. I mean, parents, graduates, and also students. Okay, so they were not so clear about this IR 4.0. Right. The second key findings, they found out is students feel unprepared to join the IR 4.0 workforce. Okay, because they are not so clear, they do not know what are the requirements, they do not know the impact, and they don't really understand what are the changes that happen, what are the evolution that's happened, because they don't understand, so they feel unprepared to join the IR 4.0 workforce. Okay, and the third, tertiary education, college, university may not be doing enough to prepare students for the workforce, for the workplace. Okay, reason being because in universities, in colleges, it is just not in just like that for them to change the syllabus. They need years for them to develop and then start to change the syllabus. So it will take time. Okay, it will take time. So students, okay, I mean, whether their tertiary education is enough or not to prepare them for the workplace or not. Okay, so they are not sure also. Okay, and then let's move on with the other findings that they found out. Okay, so the earlier one are the main ones, then the other key findings. All right, so now let's look at the other findings. Okay, first, more than half of the students and graduates, they are unable to articulate what IR 4.0 entails. These are more in detail. Okay, more than half, more than 50%. So they're not able to articulate what IR 4.0 entails. Okay, more than half of the parents were not unable, they were unable to discuss about IR 4.0. Why they are unable to discuss about IR 4.0? Because they do not know what is IR 4.0. Okay, and then they don't see why it is relevant to organization transformation. I mean, they don't see why is it relevant to today's workplace. They don't see it. Okay, more than 50%. Okay. Students were unable to articulate or envision how their choice of education and career today may be impacted by digital change. Okay, it's because they think that when they finish their degree, when they finish their diploma, when they finish their what do you call that, the tertiary education, they think that that is good enough for them to get a job, and then they can be there for life, or maybe for next until they retire, they can, they can depend on that. But things are not the same now. Okay, your choice of education, for what you get from your education, they must remember that it is only the technical knowledge and the technical skill. What they don't study and they don't cover is the soft skills. So soft skills, where are they going to learn these soft skills? So they don't see whether it is being impacted by the digital change. Okay, and then students were too reliant on their academic programs to make them job ready. Yes, this was relevant when during my days, I mean back in 90s. Okay, during back in 90s, when you finish your studies within month or within weeks, you are able to get a job with your paper qualification. Okay, and during interview, what they ask is normally about your paper qualification, and then nothing much on experience because you're a fresh graduate. Okay, so academic qualification, your what did you study, how that study going to help you in your work, and then whether it's degree, certificate, diploma, only that matters. But today it is not that, it is more than that. Okay, so they cannot really rely or depend on their academic qualification or academic programs, okay, to get a job. Okay, so this was the study done by INTI International University and College together with International Data Corporation. So this is just to support to see what is really happening with our students, with our fresh graduates, and also with their parents. Okay, let's move on with the impact of IR 4.0. Okay, let's see with this IR 4.0, what kind of impacts that we're going to have or we can have. First, more and more jobs being taken over by artificial intelligence. Okay, so artificial intelligence, that means referring to machines. Okay, so machines are taking over people's work. Okay, because machine has the artificial intelligence, they are slowly taking over people's job. So when they started to take on people's job, what's going to happen to people? Okay, so that is the first one. Second, according to the World Economic Forum in year 2015, they say that 65%, the estimated 65% of kids enrolling for primary education back in 2015 will end up working in jobs that haven't been created yet. Okay, because those students that join, enroll for primary education, let's say standard one in 2015, they will be out or they'll be graduating when they are around 23, 24. So they'll be graduating the year of 2030 or 2031. Okay, so when they graduate in 2030 or 31, maybe another 9 to 10 years time. Okay, so the job that they will have are those jobs that haven't been created yet. People do not have in mind yet what kind of job going to have. Going to be there in next 10 years or next 8 to 9 years. So nobody knows. Okay, so it is not going to be the same job that whatever we are doing or whatever our parents did. It's not going to be the same. Okay, it's going to be totally different. But people are not sure. That means the numbers are quite big. They estimated 65% of kids enrolling for primary education in 2015. Okay, so robots and other forms of automation are coming for our jobs. As I said earlier, our jobs are being taken by artificial intelligence. Okay, intelligence such as machines, robot, automation. So they are slowly taking over humans' job. So what will happen to people? Okay, according to McKinsey Global Institute report, some 375 million jobs worldwide will be vanished by 2030. Okay, and 375 million is a very huge number. Okay, huge number. Okay, 375 million jobs will be vanished by year 2030, and 2030 is not that far from now. Okay, it is now 2021. We have just another 9 years for to reach 2030. So in 9 years, 375 million jobs will be vanished. That means it is not going to happen only in year 2030. It will start now. It already started. It has already started. It will slowly move on, move until 2030, where 375 million jobs worldwide will be vanished. This is according to McKinsey Global Institute report. Okay, based on Oxford study back in year 2017, they predicted that job losses of up to 47% within 50 years. Okay, so within 50 years, that means that you don't have to wait for another 50 years. It already started happening back since 2017, they're saying. Okay, so since 2017 onward, they are saying that, okay, people are losing job, right? People are losing job. Okay, now if you look at the numbers, it is even getting worse with the pandemic in place. Okay, so for example, like January in Malaysia itself, 9,600 people have lost their job. The number is huge. Okay, so if you look at this study, it says that 47% within the next 50 years. Okay, a report by US Bureau of Labor Statistics says that 1.4 million jobs in US will be gone in just 8 years. Okay, just 8 years means just nice for us to face 2030. Okay, by the time we reach 2030, US going to have 1.4 million of jobs which has gone or vanished completely. Okay, so if you look at all these numbers, don't you feel it is scary? It is right, okay, because we are not sure what's our future going to be, because what everybody talking about unemployment, people are being terminated, companies are closing down, organizations are cutting costs, changing their business model from big organization to small organization, and then all this to stay sustainable, especially during this pandemic season. Pandemic season. Okay, so what's going to happen to us, and what's going to happen to our career in future? What happened to our job market in future? So it is worrying, right? Okay, automation and artificial intelligence are change agent of IR 4.0. So when you talk about IR 4.0, there are two things that you must know. One is automation, the other one is artificial intelligence. Automation, machinery, or robots. Okay, these are the change agent in 4.0. Because why? The change cannot happen, the evolution change cannot happen without the support of automation and also artificial intelligence. Right. World Economic Forum predicted by 2040, 80% of the job worldwide will be automated. Okay. So 80% of the job will be automated. So left now 20% of the job. So these 20% of the job is meant for physical job. Physical job is meant for physical human. The rest are all done by automation, run by robots, run by machine. That's why 80% is automated and the balance. So, I mean, the balance 20% is only by human, physical human. So talking about 2040, 2040 is just like 18 to 20 years I mean, so if you have a kid today who is like 2, 3 years, so in 2040, they'll be like, 20, I mean, in 20 years, they'll be like 23, 24, they'll be graduating. When they graduate, will they have job or not? Okay, so we need to ask that question. Will they have job or not? Why? Because we're looking at automation. Everything is moving towards automation. Okay, this would make certain group of employees, okay, employees, graduates redundant because of digitalization and robots. So digitalization, robots, and artificial intelligence will start taking over people's place. Okay, they started taking over humans' job. Okay, they'll start replacing human. With the new workers. Okay, they are looking at those technology savvy workers, people with technology competency. Okay, no more with skills, physical skills. So moving forward, they want people, graduates. They want graduates and also students. When they come to the job market, they must have those new skills related to what do you call that, cyber system, related to technology, and related to internet IoT. Okay, so with machines that are the more job cheaper. So people they also moving towards using machines. Why machines? Definitely machine. The output. If you look at the machine's productivity, okay, overall machines productivity definitely higher than human productivity. Okay, because if you look at the efficiency, uh, people's efficiency or human efficiency or universal efficiency is only 60 to 70%. Okay, studies have showed that. Whereas in what do you call it, universal machines efficiency is 85%. Machine has got higher efficiency. So definitely, when you use machines to replace people, okay, cost wise is going to be cheaper, and then the output wise is going to be higher, and definitely quality will be, stable. Better quality, and all these are able to reduce the operations cost. And organizations they want that now. Okay, what they want now is they want cheap, they want to cut costs. So they're looking, I mean, because what, otherwise they can't sustain, they can't stay in business. So they need to go for cost cutting. So they would better go, they would rather employ machines instead of people. Okay, gone are the days where students go to college or university, they get their degree, and then they get their certificate, and then they come out, they get a job, and then that job is for life. That was during my time, back in 1990s, maybe early 20s. But now it is not like that. So when you come out with a degree or with your certificate or diploma, what you have is only a paper qualification. In that paper qualification, what you have is only your technical skill. What about your people skill? You don't have a people skill, although other soft skills. Okay, so with technological advances, jobs with these three qualities are most likely to be automated. So I'm going to mention the three qualities. With these three qualities, if you have jobs with these three qualities, so you're not sure whether this job will be there in next 10 years or next 9 to 8 years, 8 to 9 years. You're not sure. Because why? Most likely they will be automated first, those repetitive job. So if it is repetitive job, you don't need your brain. Okay, you don't need to use your brain. Okay, so what kind of job that you have repetitive job? Okay, those production job, repetitive, okay, those who are doing the updating job, documentation, okay, keying in data, keying in job, and also tellers, okay, these are the repetitive job. So if you have repetitive job, that means you keep on doing the same thing again and again, that's called repetitive. Okay, this can be done by machines, it can be done by robots. So why do we need people to do repetitive job? Okay, so first, quality is repetitive. Second is based on rules. Okay, for example, internet system, you can set your rules. Okay, you can put it into your programming, and once you set the rules, it all done by the system will do people's job. They can do even better job than people. Okay, because why? They just strictly follow the rules. Like people, what they do, at times they follow rules, at times they break the rules. Okay, so but once you put automation and you fix the rules, and then the machines or the robots will start following the rules. Okay, so the second quality is those job based on rules. Okay, this also most likely to be automated. And then the third one is involve limit or well-defined physicality. Here we're talking about people physical skill. Okay, that means here we're talking about those job with very minimal or limited physical skill. You don't need physical skill or well-defined physicality. That means you need just need people's support or physical support just during the setup. Once you have done the setup, if it is can run, then it will move on. So this kind of job or this kind of three qualities, the job you have a job with these qualities, then these jobs will most likely be automated. Okay, right. So these I'm gonna add on with the three key areas where human beat machine. Okay, so when human can beat machine, then that's a key to future job creation. If its machine can beat human, then it is moving towards automation. Okay, according to Graham Brown Martin, right? According to Graham Brown Martin, okay, you can read about him maybe later. All right, there are three key areas where human beat machines. So when humans start to beat machine, and that is where you have the key to future job creation. You can create jobs. First is when involving creative endeavors, everything from scientific discovery to creative writing and entrepreneurs. So it is related to creativity, mind, using your brain for creativity. Okay. Artificial intelligence, yes, they can do job according to what you have done or you have said, but they can't use creativity. Creativity only by human. Okay. Second key area would be social interaction. Okay. So with robots, with machines, it is one-way interaction where you talk to the robot, but robot can't talk to you. You talk to the machine can't talk to you. But when you're talking about social interaction, okay, it can only done by human, where people can socially interact. Okay. The third is physical dexterity, okay, the skills in performing a task, and also the mobility. Okay, for example, a millennia of hiking mountains, swimming lakes, dancing practice. Okay, this gives human ordinary agility and physical dexterity. All this physical dexterity cannot be done by machines, cannot be done by robots. But we are not sure. Maybe moving forward in future, they can be done by robots also. But at the moment, no. It is still by people. Why? Okay, because of the flexibility that people has. Okay. Okay, let's look at the occupations that least likely to be computerized. All right. In 2030, a research done by Oxford University, they come out with a list that occupations that likely to be computerized based on the current technology back in 2013. Okay, they say that moving forward, these are the occupations that will be computerized. Okay, first is recreational therapists, first line supervisors of mechanics, installers and repairers, emergency management directors, mental health, substance abuse social workers, audiologists, occupational therapists, orthotists and also prosthetists, healthcare social worker, occupational therapist, first line supervisor of firefighting and prevention workers, oral and maxillofacial surgeons, lodging managers, dietitian and nutritionists, choreographers, sales engineers, instructional coordinators, physicians and surgeons, psychologists, elementary school teachers, experts, so special education, general dentists, first line supervisor, police and detectives. Okay, all these jobs, okay, are least likely to be computerized. That means in future, all these jobs will be there. Okay, why? If you look at all these, okay, all these, if you look at those jobs that I've just mentioned, either they use people's brain, mind, creativity, and it's involving physical skill or physical dexterity, where machines or artificial intelligence or robots cannot do that. Okay, so that's why these are the most likely to be computerized in with the current technology. Okay. Oxford University, in the same research, they also highlighted that out of around 700 occupations, 12 were found to have 99% change of being automated in the future. So here they're looking at like 1.7%. So remember, research was done in 2013. Okay, because there's no any recent research done on this by Oxford. So back in 2013, the research was done. So based on this, 1.3% job will be automated. Okay, so what are those jobs? Data entry keyers, those doing data entry job, because repetitive job. Okay, library technician, also repetitive. They don't really need to use creativity or brain to do this job. Okay, new accounts clerks. Okay, photographic process workers and processing machine operators, tax preparers, cargo and freight agents, okay, watch repairers, insurance underwriters, mathematical technicians, sievers, hand sievers, okay, title examiners, abstractors and searchers, and of course, last is telemarketers. These are all repetitive jobs. And then you need minimal human intelligence. So when you need minimal human intelligence, so it can be still done by robots, machine, or artificial intelligence. So what graduates should prepare, or what students should prepare to face this IR 4.0? According to the former VC, Vice Chancellor of UITM, okay, Emeritus Professor Dato IR Dr. Muhammad Azrai Kasim, he said that students must be 21st century competent. What is 21st century competent? Technology savvy. Okay, that is 21st century competent. They must be technology savvy. That's one part. Okay, that is more on technical part. Okay, second is socially competent. Okay, adaptive competent. They are able to adapt to changes. Okay, according to situation. That's why now we have situation leadership. Okay, they are able to adapt themselves to the changing situation. Okay, then third is digital competent, and also they must have high level of personal competency or competence to cope with the rapid changes of the industry and prepare themselves to face IR 4.0. Okay, so first, 21st in the century competent, social competent, adaptive competent, then digital competent, and final one is personal competent. So students and graduates, they must start preparing themselves to have all those five. Okay, so they must have beyond technical skill. If we're talking about technical skill, yes, 21st century competent and digital competency are those technical skills. So what they need now is they need a mixture. Okay, they need hybrid, mix of both technical skill and soft skill. They need both. So what are those technical and soft skills that they need? Critical thinking. Okay, so when do you need critical thinking? In problem solving. Okay, because why? In problem solving, you need critical thinking. With the critical thinking, you are able to make decision. So problem solving is also under the what you call the soft skills. So first critical thinking, thinking. Second is problem solving. Third is leadership skill. Okay, leadership skill. Okay, so when you say leadership skill, you must have those functions like, you may be able to do planning, organizing, staffing, leading, controlling. All this still must be done by human. How? With their soft skills. Okay, not only with the soft skill, of course combination of both, but just with the technical skill they cannot do all this. They need soft skill. So critical thinking, problem solving, leadership skill, and lifelong learning. Okay, when you say lifelong learning, okay, every single thing that you see daily, it is a learning for you. Okay, you must be able to learn and change yourself, adapt yourself to the changes, otherwise you will be left behind. Okay, you're left behind. And then what I meant by left behind, you are not able to face the changing workplace. Okay, the IR 4.0 workplace. So how are you going to make sure that you are qualifying yourself to get a job, or to face to get a job and then move on to the new working culture, which is IR 4.0? Okay, so the 10 skills required by today's student for the IR 4.0. Right, so according to the World Economic Forum report, the future of jobs, I mean, title future of jobs, there are 10 skills required by today's students for their IR to face the IR 4.0. First, complex problem solving. Okay, so when you say complex problem solving, it starts with identifying the problem, and then first you need to make sure that it is really a problem. So you need to identify the problem. So once you have identified the problem, then you move on with the identifying the root cause. Once you have identified the root cause, then you decide the solutions: temporary, corrective solution, and also preventive solution, temporary fix, and also permanent fix. So once you have done that, and then you need to implement the solution, and then do a study where you collect your data after you've implemented the solution, and then you compare with data before to see whether before and after got any changes or not. So these involve thinking. Okay, this involve decision making, where people need to decide with the use of brain, human intelligence. They need to decide whether the problem solving is effective or not effective. Okay, by looking at the results. So first, okay, you need first the skill that you need is complex problem solving. When you say complex, the layered problem solving, it is just not solving problem without thinking. It involves data analysis. It involves, like, you need to use some tools. You need to analyze the data. So you have to collect data, analyze data, and then use that as a fact for you to solve the problem. Okay. Second, critical thinking. Okay, critical thinking, you must think out of the box. Okay, you must think out of the box, think differently. Okay, and then when you see critical thinking, and you don't take time, you need to think fast. Because why? The thinking, the idea that you have it has got no value if it's delayed. It has value only when it is fast. So critical thinking has to be fast. Okay, it has to be fast, and then must be able to reduce, or must be able to solve a problem. That's what we call critical thinking. Okay, creativity, think differently. Okay, don't think, if that's why people say that when you want a new result, you want a different result, you must start doing something differently. So in order for you to do something differently, you must start thinking creatively. Okay, thinking creatively. You cannot be thinking like how others are thinking. So what you can do is you can use that as a stepping stone, people's idea. With that, then you brainstorm yourself and come up with new ideas. That is creative thinking. And then the fourth is people management. And people management and machine management are not the same. Okay, and people management are not easy, because when you manage people, you must have people management skill. Okay, when you have people management skill, here we're talking about human relation skill. Human relation skill, you must know how to interact with people, how to communicate with people, how to work with them, how to solve problem, how to delegate job. There's so many things that you need to know when you're talking about people management. And remember, people has emotion. Because of emotion, people are very, very sensitive, and then they work with their more, I mean, with different what do you call that? They have different personalities. So their personalities keep on changing according to the place, according to the time, according to their mood. So very important how you manage people. Okay, next, coordinating with others, because when you're working, you don't work alone. You don't work on silo. you work with others, you work with other departments, other work with business units. So you need to do, what you need to do is how you must know how to coordinate with others, how to work together with others. All right. And then, so complex problem solving here is also involving more than, okay, why I have two. One is earlier is soft skill, now is complex problem solving involving soft skills and technical skill. Okay, involving soft skill and technical skill. Why? Because you have soft skill is not only enough, because you must also have the technical knowledge, because some tasks you need the technical knowledge to solve a problem, so you need both, hybrid, okay, combination of both. So complex problem solving also involving technical, so it has both. Okay, 7, okay, critical thinking. So this critical thinking is not the way how we normally think, it's how we join with others by brainstorming. Okay, we brainstorming and get ideas. The first one was critical thinking is your own idea, and now how we use people's idea to come up with our own ideas. So you work together with people. When you work together with people, so we must also have critical thinking, where you must have ideas based on your brainstorming with others. Okay, and then creativity and people management. Okay, all right. Okay, in a nutshell, you must know the following jobs forecasted to be lost by early 2030. Okay, first, 46.4% of jobs in manufacturing, close to 50% of manufacturing job, okay, will be lost. Why will be lost? It doesn't mean that the job's not going to be there. It will be replaced by artificial intelligence or robots and also machineries. Okay. Second, 32.3% in finance, okay, due to the repetitive job, and then what do you call, the machines can start doing the job. Okay, for example, finance and banking job. Okay, 44% in wholesale and retail. Okay, wholesale and retail, 44%. Jobs will be lost. Why? Because people are going for online shopping. So you don't need a physical shop. You don't need wholesale outlet, retail outlet. So everything is moving to online. Okay, less than 0.2% in human health and social workers. Okay, so if you look at the human health and social workers, they are less affected. If you look at the percentage, 0.2% only, so they are less affected. Okay, so students, what you need to do is they need to scale up beyond theoretical and academic learning. What I meant here is they need to go beyond what you call the technical skill. They're beyond their university degree, college degree, or diploma. What is meant by beyond? They must also have other soft skills. They must also learn other soft skills. Okay, there's so many ways for you to learn, soft skills, and you can use the internet support, YouTube, Google. You can attend trainings, programs, seminars. There's so many ways where you can improve your soft skills. Okay, they must evaluate and assess how well the education system, the current education program, provide training in real world insight to prepare them to enter the workplace. Assess yourself. You see whether your university degree or university, what do you call that, curriculum, okay, the current education program or curriculum, is it enough or not to prepare yourself to have both technical and also soft skill when you go to the workplace? Okay, students should also focus on development of personal skill. Set along with your academic excellence. So just not fully depending on academic excellence. Okay, they must start to develop their personal skill. Okay, start developing a personal skill. And the following personal skills are the competencies that will enable students to remain relevant under the IR 4.0. First, teamwork. So teamwork is again talking about how do you collaborate and work with others. Okay, adaptability to changes. It is your mindset. How are you preparing yourself to adapt to the changes? We first need to adopt it, and then you adapt to the changes. Why? To stay sustainable. Okay, to stay sustained. Okay, to stay current. So you need to adapt to the changes. Okay, ability to communicate effectively. Okay, here we are talking about socializing. Okay, how do you socialize with others? Okay, how do you improve your social communication, interpersonal skill, human relation? Okay, Okay, so that is how you communicate effectively. Having a mindset for lifelong learning. It is very important where preparing yourself for lifelong learning every day, every single moment, it is a learning for us. Okay, so when you say it is learning, so okay, if you look at the concept of learning, so first of all, concept of learning, you must understand whatever you learn. Okay, there are three pillars. Yeah. First, you must understand whatever you learn. Second is after you understand, you must make sure you need to retain whatever you have understood. Okay. So retain means you need to keep in your brain, you keep in your mind. So how long can you keep? All that depending on the third pillar, which is practical. Okay. You need to practice. So if you start practicing, okay, whatever you have learned, whatever you understood, you are able to retain it. So once you are able to retain it, you are able to use it for lifelong. So remember the three pillars or the three pillars of lifelong learning, the concept of learning, which is understanding, retaining, and also practicing. Okay. All right, I'm done with the topic. Okay. So I'm going to move forward with, okay, time given is 1 hour. All right. So I'm done with the topic. So let's move on. Okay. So IR 4.0 is happening faster than any other thing in the world. So we should not only be prepared, but we should be the change agent and the leaders. So don't wait for the changes to happen. You lead the change. We lead the change. Okay, we be the change agent, we be the leader, and be ready. Otherwise, we will be disappearing. So we will disappear. Okay, we will not be there when when the full IR 4.0 is in place. So with that, all right, thanks a lot. Okay, so I am done with my session. So here I have my LinkedIn, my link, and also my Facebook ID. So if you want to keep in touch and keep in contact with me, so you may contact me here. So I can share, I can even share more information later. Right? With that, thanks a lot. Thank you.